You are now listening to the HBCU Wall Street podcast.
Hello, Aggies. This is Miss Fred from Carolina Chicken and Waffles. This episode of the HBCU Wall Street podcast is sponsored by Carolina Chicken and Waffles, the home of our family famous fried chicken and waffles. Aggie pride.
Carolina chickens and waffles.
How's your chicken?
So good.
Man, it was amazing. The food tastes like it looked.
I mean, no offense to my grandma, but your chicken's better, so.
That chicken was so good. I told him if my mama was on the throat, I'd come up there and slap the hell out of her. Cause it was good like that.
You're drinking a beer that tastes like home, reminds you of Washington, and your good old-fashioned chicken and waffles. It's great.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Aggies Excel. Today we have Curtis Walls with us. What's going on, Curtis?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Looking forward to getting into this conversation. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, man. Coming off a strong weekend. I'm excited to have this conversation. Thank you for having me.
Got you. Well, good stuff, man. So just to tell the audience a little bit about you. So Curtis is he was born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's passionate about fatherhood, coaching, sports, and community. And so we're going to get into what Curtis has done. And of course, he's a graduate of the illustrious North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, fall 2003 and spring 2008. So we're going to get into that a little bit. We're going to get into that. So let me say this, Curtis. So first, I like to ask people, I like to start it off with this, and it's purposeful for me. When you, as an Aggie, when you hear the word G-Ho, what does that mean to you?
Greatest homecoming on earth. And when we aren't exaggerating, man, you know, that means everything, man. I think it's amazing how we've been able to have that name stamped and not have a lot of discourse about whether that's true or not in this social media age, right? You know, because if it wasn't, media would have been done, exposed us, man. But this is just an amazing atmosphere. It's a place where even if you're not a alumni, you're just gonna have a good time just based on the energy. The community is just unmatched, man. It's been like that for so many years, you know, and that's the amazing part of it, right? The legacy of our homecoming.
Absolutely. I tell people often, you know, because everybody said, you know, our homecoming is the best. Okay, no. I've had so many people that, you know, have gone to their homecoming and then came to ours and it's like, oh, I get it. I understand. It's like, it's a huge family reunion / party / networking event that lasts for a whole week. And it's the place. I've never been to a place, and I've been to sporting events, I've been to festivals, been to concerts. I've never seen so many Black people get together for such an extended amount of time and have so much fun and it be all love like the whole time. It's an amazing experience.
The whole time. You can literally go to the plots at 10 o'clock in the morning and find yourself standing in the same place at 8 p.m. Right?
You really can. You really can, because the traffic, you're going to see so many, hey, what's going on? I ain't seen you in years. Like, you're having conversations left and right. You're seeing people you haven't seen in years, friends of yours you may have just seen, you know, last year, a couple of months ago. But it's all love, man. It's an amazing experience. And so it's something I often say, I'm like, listen, unless you're an Aggie, you really don't understand. Now, there's some people that are, you know, adopted Aggies that come to homecoming every year and they understand. But unless you're really in the heart of it, it's hard to explain to people. They're like, okay, you got a homecoming, it's a bunch of people, y'all eating, party. No, it ain't the same. It ain't the same. Absolutely. So let's talk about this, Curtis. So one thing, just reading about you and what you've done, one of the first things that really interested me was your time in NASCAR, because you don't find too many Black people in NASCAR. I mean, there's some in there now, but can you tell us about your time in NASCAR? What was that experience like for you?
The experience was amazing, honestly. I was blessed to move up the ladder pretty fast, so it was a lot kind of thrown at me. I wasn't a NASCAR fan before I got into it. I knew nothing about NASCAR, actually. I stumbled across it. I had an up and down post-college football life, and I had a mentor who was connected to the NASCAR world, and he was the one who put the bug in my ear. First time he mentioned it, it went in one and out the other. And then, I kind of had, I had got released from a team around the age of 28, I believe. And that was the point where I was like, man, I got to figure something else out, man. But I still wanted to stay at the competitive level and at the highest levels of competition. So I followed up with my mentor, and then he plugged me in with the team. And I started off as a pit crew member, so being a tire changer. And I had to learn that whole sport, the skill set, the culture, just everything about it. And then I quickly moved into kind of like a player coach role, training the teams that I was with, and working directly under, the coaches and all of the leadership under the specific team. So in NASCAR, one team can have multiple teams, right? Multiple cars. So that's kind of what's my first team. Yeah.
Got it. Great. Now that seems like a very, very interesting experience. And I can understand that, like, being an athlete sometimes, and no matter what you do after that, that competitive drive, like, you need it. Like me, I can tell you, like, even, play sports all my life, play football all my life. Even when I got into corporate America, like, that competitive spirit in me, it didn't go anywhere. Like, I still needed it. I still needed to find an outlet for it. That's interesting, man. And let me tell you a fun fact about NASCAR. So my great grandfather, NASCAR started in North Carolina, and it started from bootleggers. And the reason it started from bootleggers, a lot of people, I know you probably know the story, but it started from bootleggers because it was illegal at that time, to distribute, to distribute what they were distributing, alcohol they were distributing, the moonshine. And so they would soup up these cars really to be able to just outrun the cops, to not get caught. And I can say my great grandfather had a big hand in that. I learned some things about my family history. So my great grandfather was kind of high level in the bootlegging game. And I learned that at an early age, like, wow, that was really interesting to me. But yeah, but it's grown into something that's just, I'm sure, exceeded far of what they thought of at the time.
Sure. Yep. You have a lot of backwood folks, right? Becoming overnight, So there was a point where NASCAR was like the biggest sporting event in America, So
Yep, absolutely.
It really was amazing to your point, to learn of it and how it evolved into what we see today. So yeah.
Absolutely. So tell me, so you've as an Aggie, I always say, listen, y'all, there's something about this A&T culture. Like, Aggies do. That's what we do. Like, we're going to do some stuff. Like, we're going to do it big too. So tell me about your experience with ownership, specifically like you owning gyms, and how was that for you? And how was it on the business side? And how was it just the process? What type of process did you have to go through to get it up and get it running?
Yeah, man. So I think I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit, right? I never owned a brick and mortar, but I've always my ownership stake in businesses, right? Where I was leading value to all of that kind of stuff. So, as far as with, opening up gyms, man, the biggest thing that I think a lot of people have to understand is we are in a world of community. Your ability to build, create, and sustain a community is very, very valuable. If you can create a space where you feed into people, where you serve people, you find a need, right? Like the sky is the limit. I always say, I heard something on a podcast a while ago where it says, knowledge is no longer.
So Curtis, tell me about your experience with owning gyms, and how was that, and what was that experience like?
Yeah, so I've always had the entrepreneur spirit, but owning a brick and mortar is a little bit different. And I think a very important ingredient to owning a space is the ability to create community, right? And I think that is the most valuable asset in today's time, right? It's not just your ability to have eyes on you, but your ability to mobilize people, to congregate people, to create a safe space for people, right? And I've been able to really foster an environment where community is first, and it is a place where people are growing and learning a lot about their bodies as well as their minds, and the possibilities of just life beyond their 9 to 5, or even beyond their other endeavors, whether that's them as an executive, professional athlete, or as an entrepreneur too. So I've been really blessed to just find my niche that makes sense, right? When people think of me and they think of me having a gym, it makes sense. I don't have to explain it. Gotcha. Understandable. Now, you talked about building communities, and that's so important, especially in a lot of businesses, and really, really building, because when you build communities, you build loyalty, you bring together people with similar interests, and that does well for a lot of businesses. So tell me more about the community building. So outside of even your gyms, how important is it, or how have you been able to integrate that in your life with any type of community building? Yeah, man. So I think one of my strongest places I've always had was the ability to, just have solid friends and a solid just network. I've never struggled with finding good people. And I think that has really allowed me to grow that beyond just my inner circle. I think we live in a world where you have to be who you say you are. Your ability to instill a level of trust in people from them just simply observing you over the years, has truly added a lot of value. The same character integrity I have now is the same character and integrity people saw back in 2003 when they first met me. It's the same hard work and work ethic, right? That now, if I open a gym, it just makes sense. I think a lot of people fall short because they don't become a thought leader in the space that they want to create, right? So, gotcha. I've had a lot of friends who open up businesses, but nobody even knew that was their interest, So you have the background work of creating that image and that familiarity for people to associate you to the things that you want to create, and I think I've been able to do that. I'm 37 now. I've been in sports my entire life. People know my work ethic, my grind. People see me coach other people over the years. So when I decided two years ago to, create my own space, people wanted to be a part of that because I never offered it publicly. It was always just to professional athletes in private environments. Okay, gotcha. Good stuff. So let's switch it up a little bit here. So let's talk about you on a personal level. So Curtis, the man, let's talk about fatherhood and how, important that is to you. And it's a very important topic for me because being a Black man, I think it's one of the most important things we can do. But I'm going to ask you this, how has fatherhood impacted your life? Man, so fatherhood, first and foremost, has given me purpose, in new seasons, right? Like before fatherhood, some of us are fortunate enough to find what our why is and what our purpose is, right? But each season makes us kind of go back to the drawing board and figure out who are we becoming, what is our why, what does that look like? And fatherhood is a daily reminder to where I don't have to question, if I'm confused about anything else. The one thing that I do know is I'm a father, and I take that very, very seriously. You know what I mean? And I'm very big making sure that I'm present. I'm very big on understanding how to compartmentalize my entrepreneur life and understand, the long-term value of being present with my kids,
Absolutely. And I agree. Like I'm an entrepreneur myself, but I would tell anybody any day, like the most important job I have, bar none, is being a father. Like that's the thing I'm most passionate about. That's the thing that's most important to me. Because I love my kids more than I love my business. I love my business, but I love my kids more than I love my business. And it's not just because I love them. It's because I know what they need. It's because I've lived in this world that they're going to have to live in. So I know what it takes to instill certain things in them. I want to teach them. I want to guide them. I want to protect them. I want them to learn on their own too. I give them the space, to make mistakes and figure out things on their own. But I understand my job is to create success for the next generation, and that's what we do as fathers. So that's a huge thing, man. And it's great to talk to someone that has that similar mindset, that understands how important that is, man.
Oh, for sure.
Let me ask you this. So people often, when we have guests on this podcast, people love to understand, what Aggies are doing and how they're impacting the business world, what they're doing on the business side. But a lot of people also want to know, like, who are these people? And so to get a little glimpse inside Curtis the man, let me ask you this question. Let's say I was like, Curtis, I'm gonna give you $10,000. $10,000 for the weekend. The only catch is you can't use it on business at all. You have to use it totally on yourself. You just have to do something that Curtis likes. It's gonna bring Curtis enjoyment. Just take a step away from business for a minute. What would you spend that $10,000 on? What would that weekend look like for you?
Oh man, that's going to be getting an Airbnb on the beach, packing up my kids' clothes, suitcases, getting an RV and inviting my family and maybe some of my friends to go on a road trip, and just taking care of everything for that week, And I say that $10,000 is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money, right? So,
right.
RVs are fairly affordable. You know what I mean? Airbnb can make a lot of sense when you're trying to bring a group of people, but it's just creating a space where we can have some organic fun. You know what I mean? We have enough to take care of the groceries. We have enough we're going to be on the beach, so we don't have to create a lot of moments, right? Kind of like the moment of the experience is the beach. Maybe we go somewhere and have good dinners and you maybe go to like a theme place, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, very big on just creating simple moments that are like lifelong lasting memories, man. Like I'm very big on like on just creating memories. So that'll definitely be.
Gotcha. Good stuff. I asked that because people just want to get a glimpse into, and sometimes I want to get a glimpse into who people are and what they're like as a person. I can say, when I ask people that question, I ask myself that question. And I was like, by far, it's going to involve a beach. Like because for me, like the beach is, like, I love water. I love to get near the water, and being an entrepreneur, being on the grind, working as hard as we do. Water is like a reset button for me. Me getting out into nature and getting it, I have the opportunity to clear my mind, to get refocused. It's really just like my reset button. So I definitely feel you on that. Now, if people wanted to follow you, if people wanted to get in touch with you, they want to see what you're doing, how could they locate you? How could they see what Curtis is doing?
Yeah, man. So it's very easy. You can follow me on all social medias at Curtis Walls. And then if you want to go to the site where you can kind of get connected to everything, that's curtiswalls.com. So if you go to Curtis Walls on IG or Facebook or my website, man, you'll get plugged into all my businesses and everything that I'm doing.
Gotcha. Well, good stuff, man. I appreciate you for taking the time out to talk to us, man. For us to show the world some of this Aggie excellence, to show people, what I've been yelling all the time. Like, look, Aggies do. I'm gonna prove it to you. I'm gonna show it to you. But I appreciate your time, man. And we definitely gonna have to connect again. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. This has been another episode of Aggies Excel, and we'll holler at you.
Thank you.